why people need yoga. Actually, the definition of yoga is yoga is chitta, vritti, nirodham. Chitta vritti means activities of the mind. Nirodham means stopping the activities of the mind. The mind is constantly operating from morning till you sleep. So when this is happening like this, there is no rest actually you could get. Very deep rest you may not get at all. So it is important to suspend the mind for some time, so that whatever the natural system has to work, whatever plan the natural system has in your body, that will start operating, and that is a cure by itself. Otherwise, we constantly intervene with the natural program, which is there in our genes, in our cells. And so, after some time, we will be tired, we will be aged, very tired. And so it is significant to suspend the mind for at least some time every day. When you are suspending the mind, you get into a deeper relaxation. When you are in that kind of a deep relaxation, you feel very peaceful, comfortable. And when you get out of this, you will come out with a dynamism, because you are coming out of rest. When you look there, all activities are intermittently filled with a gap. Gap, activity, it is like that. Whatever action we do, when you look at the heartbeat, it is not beating. There is a gap between each beat. There is a gap between each breath. There is a gap between thoughts. There is a gap between every action. And so, if you are aware of the gap, you will understand that there is nothing in the gap. The mental activities are suspended temporarily at the time. So actually yoga means becoming aware of the suspended period of the gap of the mind. And that is very important, otherwise you will be totally exhausted, you will be worn out, and you will be ineffective, and you cannot fructify those things for which you assumed the body. You are here for doing something. We may not be able to know for what I am here, but at the same time you are doing certain things, and that should be effectively done, otherwise there will be something left over all the time. So towards the end of the life we will feel that I have not finished my work, but there is no more time. And if you have to pass over with that feeling that I have to do something more, then that's not a completion of life. And an imperfect life will be the result of unawareness, or living with unawareness. And so it is important to be aware of the activities of the mind and be aware of the suspended gap. And then you can be effective and you can fulfill your purposes for which you are incarnated. That's why yoga is so significant. Yoga is not a physical exercise, it is a part of yoga. To tame the body, to correct the body, to regulate the body, to reculture the body. And this is the significance of the physical part of yoga. The definition of yoga, according to the master who made the yoga philosophy, is suspension of the mind, or suspension of the activities of the mind. If you are not suspending the activities of the mind, certainly it will be difficult to manage this heavy life. So there comes the significance of yoga. If you go into yoga, your mind could in some ways be suspended, at least for some time. When you come out of it, you will be effective. Then your karmas will be, your actions could be fulfilling actions. And you finish your life. That's the significance of yoga. That's why we do it. When the master who made the yoga philosophy, he put yoga in 8 steps. And this is very significant. Nowadays in the world, when you move around to see different types of practices, you mostly see only 2 aspects of yoga worked out in most of the schools. People are coming for some gymnastic exercise to correct the body. But body is the expression of the mind, or rather, mind is the subtle aspect of the body. And so, If your body needs to be tuned, your mind also needs to be tuned. Otherwise, the body cannot be in a state of well-being. So the master, when he designed the yoga philosophy, he has delineated it in different step by step, you reach the state of yoga. The first step is yama. The word yama means certain restraints. You have to restrain yourself. And restraining in the sense, you are a social animal, you have interactions with the rest of the society, and when you interact with the society, you have to be aware of certain things. Otherwise, you will breed a lot of unnecessary tensions and stress. If you correct your lifestyle with the fellow beings, certainly you could regulate your life and make the life more peaceful. So it is important to observe certain, to restrain certain things, or be aware of certain things. And these certain principles are specifically said by the master as yamas. Yamas are non-violence, truth, honesty, continence, and non-possession. These are the 5 fundamental principles of yoga. Non-violence, if you are violent, you are hurting yourself. If you are really a violent person, not only you are hurting the society, you are certainly hurting yourself. As we have been looking at the anger and how anger is coming. It is a killing emotion. In the same way, we have to be aware of this, how to be non-violent to the rest of the society or to the people whom you are interacting with and to yourself. Then truth, and live a truthful life. Then honesty. There should be some harmony between all these things. Otherwise, there will be big chaos in our life. So that needs to be regulated. And then ahimsa, satya, asteya, honesty. Then continence is abeyance from excessive passion. A life which is based on awareness. Live a life based on awareness. Brahmacharya, in Sanskrit they call brahmacharya. Charya means moving, and Brahma means consciousness. So moving with consciousness. Sometimes when you are so much passionate, you forget who you are. And you project yourself completely. And then you lose yourself. And so it happens mostly in the area of passion, like sex and passion. So have a balance in that area so that you can keep your awareness the whole time. Ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha means non-possession. That's also very important. If you are continuously having the idea to possess everything and becoming a possessive person, and the possession takes over all your actions, and naturally people dislike you. If you are a very possessive, greedy person, nobody likes to be together with you. So these fundamental principles are making certain adjustments in your life so that you can have a peaceful life in the society. If you are not peaceful, certainly nothing is possible for you to understand. Nothing in the sense, deeper aspects of your being always remain hidden from your awareness. And once these things are there, established in yourself, then you can go to the second stage, which is called niyamas. Niyamas are cleanliness, contentment, tapas, swadhyaya, and ishvara pranidhana. These are the 5 niyamas. Certain observances. You need to observe certain things. So you need to have the basic cleanliness. The surroundings needs to be kept clean. Your body needs to be kept clean. Otherwise, you will be restless. You cannot focus your attention. So cleanliness is considered as very important in yoga. Cleanliness of the body, cleanliness of the surrounding, cleanliness of the mind. Cleanliness of the mind is not entertaining very heavy stuff. Keep the mind in a pure state. Not entertaining very heavy conflicting ideas or the temptation to go into conflicts. And that needs to be taken care of. Then contentment. Contentment is whatever you have, be contented with that. And tomorrow you'll have more things, and then at that time you enjoy it. And instead of having such an attitude towards life, if you are really looking for things all the time, you will be very dissatisfied in whatever you do, because we don't know what is going to come to us. We can only be greedy for things, but we never know whether it will come to us or not. And so contentment is very, very important aspect for a yogic practitioner. If you are contented, your mind is settled. Contentment pushes you to a positive emotion which is called joy. When you are contented, you are joyful. If you are not contented, you are sorrowful. So contentment is also proposed by the masters as one of the things which needs to be observed by a practitioner of yoga, contentment. Then tapas. Tapas means, the word meaning is heating up. You heat up your system. All the time there is warmth which is there in the body, which is making you alive. The pranic movement in the body keeps you alive. And this pranic movement, which is creating the heat in the body, can be regulated in a balanced way when you are in a normal mood. When you are in an excited mood, the heat in the system shoots up like anything. And if you don't know how to regulate the heat in the body, that heat can burn the house. The house is the body. So it is actually this heat is the life, and it is the sustenance, and it is improperly managed could destroy the person also. So it needs to be regulated. And so, for example, if a conflicting thought is coming in the mind of a person, or unethical or conflicting thought comes in the mind of a person, he is so desirous of achieving it, certainly the conflict will grow. As soon as the conflict grows, what happens is the heat in the body grows more and more. And when the heat is growing, how to get out of the heat? It kills you slowly. More than it protects you, if you entertain that conflicting desire for a long time, it slowly starts to eat you up, cook you up, finish you up. So this needs to be really looked into, and then manage the heat so that you can grow to higher awareness. So tapas is a particular way of balancing the heat which is there in the body. The word meaning of tapas is heating up, cooking. If you are not keeping the balance and pushing yourself into conflicting areas, the heat will grow a lot, and then you will not be able to manage your balance, you will not be able to manage your health, and you will be in a highly stressed condition. So it is important for us to really take care of this, or establish the balance. What to do? If a conflicting desire is coming up in the mind and the heat is generating, one has to sacrifice the conflicting desire on the holy fire of conflict. This is the idea. When a person is living like this, it's called, he is living in austerity, in tapas. That is also one of the things which is proposed by the masters. This awareness needs to be there in the mind of the person who really wanted to get into higher consciousness. Yoga is a way to reach the higher state of consciousness. Then tapas. Swadhyaya is self-study. You all the time be aware of yourself. Who are you? And what are you doing? Who am I? And these questions needs to be discussed within yourself, and be aware of all your thoughts, words, and action. And when you do this, you will unknowingly steady yourself. At certain points, you may come across difficult situations of which you have no answers, because you are studying your mind. When you come across such a difficult situation where you have no answers, what to do? Usually nowadays we go to the Google and search what it is, and the Google says it's like that. So you take the Google answers as an authority, and you rely upon the authority, and you try to practice it. In olden times, the Google was not there, and so we go to some masters who established this state of living. And so you go there, you work with them, and they say a lot of beautiful things, how to handle the situations. and then you try to follow this. When you listen to the person, you hear the person, you listen to the person, and then you discriminate what is good for you or not. And if you find that something is good for you, you try to put it into practice in your own life. And this hearing, listening, analyzing, then putting it in understanding, making a judgment, and putting it into practice in your life is called Swadhyaya, self-study. And a person who is doing this naturally will grow all the time because he is mastering himself continuously. Every experience that comes on his way is a chance for him to grow. If you are not aware of this, no growth. So he proposes Swadhyaya. And then finally he says the idea of Ishvara Pranithanam. Ishvara Pranithanam is surrender to a higher principle, a higher intelligence. The entire cosmos is created by a higher intelligence, or it's self-born, but the intelligence is there. And when you come across situations whereby you don't know what to do, because we don't know what is there ahead of us. And so, but you see, you are in a crisis situation, and you try to really handle the crisis. There will be heavy crises come up in our life. Unmanageable crises come up in our life. At that time, what to do? You will simply burn out in the crisis. And so he proposes an idea that the intelligence who has created the whole universe knows what to do. And so surrender to the higher intelligence so that you will not feel the burden of your own life. And that's called Ishvara Pranithanam. These are the 10 fundamental principles, 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. These are the basic requirements for a yogi, a yogic student. When once you establish this, you can get into physical exercises, which is called asana. Asanas are for taming the body. The body is heavily charged with a lot of unnecessary stuff, poisons. The way of life has really given a lot of stress, and all the stress has gone into the cells, and the cells are very heavy with a lot of chemicals and with stress. And the counterpart of stress, which is locked up in the body, is called the fatigue, tiredness. And this tiredness needs to be eliminated from the body. For that, we have a lot of exercises called asanas. You do the asanas to perfect your body, to take away the stress, to push out the poison in the body, reculture the body. When you reculture the body, you can be a little more peaceful because you feel comfortable. In whatever position, you keep yourself. So asana means stiram, sukham, asana. Stiram is continuous, long, steady, continuous, comfortable position is called asana. When you perfect the asana, you can sit comfortably in a place for a long time. That's the purpose of asana. Or you can stand in a position for a long time without disturbance, without restlessness. So your rest increases by practice of asana, physical rest. When your body is in a state of rest, naturally, the flow of prana in the body, prana means the vital force in the body, also starts to become very, very, very centered. And to make the body centered or make the pranic flow in a rhythmic fashion, we have a lot of practices called pranayama, the control of prana, control of vital force. Then you do these practices, a lot of exercises with your breath. And then when you master this, you can enter into the mind, deeper practices. Deeper practices are concentration, meditation, and integration. That is dharana, dhyanam, and samadhi. These are the deeper practices. So the peripheral practices are called like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara. Pratyahara is withdrawal, a sense that I skipped. And after practicing pranayama for a long time, you feel that you can focus your attention. Focusing the attention is very important to know. So when you can focus the attention for a long time, you are in a state of concentration. For enabling you to focus your attention, You need to eliminate certain unnecessary things which are coming into your view, into your perception. So the yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and then the fifth step is pratyahara. Pratyahara means withdrawal of senses. Our senses are jutting outside to gather information to understand the world. All the time the senses are doing this. If the senses are feeding a lot to the mind cannot simply sit on it. It has to analyze, it has to make judgments, it has to make concepts, it has to identify itself with the concepts which it makes. And so there will come an incredible process all the time if you are not withdrawing the senses. So there are practices to withdraw the sense, to keep it in the mind itself, instead of jutting it outside to gather information constantly. So when you are established in this kind of practice like withdrawal of senses, certainly you can focus. Focus is called dharana. That is the sixth step in yoga. Concentration means entertaining any thought or any action or any point or any idea or any idol or whatever you like to concentrate, you can focus your attention. When you start to focus, what will happen in the person who is focusing is he gets into some kind of a stress, because the natural tendency of the mind is to skip from one point to another. That is natural. It's like a monkey. It wants to jump continuously. So when the mind is jumping like that, you are restraining the mind to focus. So naturally there will be stress. And when this stress is growing, you cannot concentrate. So you need a training to concentrate, how to focus without stress. So eliminating the distracting tendencies, you can focus. When you are focusing on a point, some thoughts will come or other things appear in the mind or in your vision so that you get distracted. So you have to eliminate the distracting tendencies and refocus to the point. It's a big exercise against the natural tendency of the mind. By long practice, long-term practice, you lose the stress. It becomes very easy for you to focus. And that's called concentration. Focusing your mind to the point of attention continuously for a long period of time. When once you are established in focusing, you will forget the stress which is associated with concentrating. So you start to do the same process without stress. You can just simply focus on any object or any point for a long time without stress. When it happens, it is called meditation. Focusing to the point of attention without strain is meditation. When you are focusing like this, you integrate with the object of focusing. When you start focusing, there are 3 points: one, the object, then the subject, and the process. You are focusing on something. And by losing the strain or skipping the strain from focusing, what will happen? You start to flow to the point without strain. After some time, you are not thinking about you, you are not aware of what is happening in your body, but you are only aware of the point. That means your mind is completely focused without strain to the point, and you are not even aware of what you are doing. So, the person, the subject, integrating with the object through the process. And this kind of an integration is called samadhi. The subject, object, and the process becomes one. This is the highest state in yoga, integration, which is called samadhi. So the master, when he made the yoga philosophy, he has scientifically programmed it like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, and samadhi. And then he describes different deeper states of samadhis. There are deeper and deeper aspects of integration. And when a person is integrated, then he has the quality to focus on anything. If he is focusing on silence, his mind will be empty. If he is focusing on something, he is the object. What is the purpose of such a focusing, such a meditation, integration is, when you are focusing on something, you are that, you become that. And then you understand everything about it, based on feelings. You feel the object. When you feel the object, you are the object. You understand everything, and then there is no point in, there is no need for you to comprehend anything, because you know that I can comprehend anything. And mind gets into a completely restful state and he remains peaceful. And then he leaves the body in that state which is called Mahasamadhi, which means what you call final passing from the body. And he remains as the witness of the whole program of life. And this is the purpose of yoga. That's why we do yoga. Thank you.